Should I try mixing these? Hello, I'm Aaron Pringle, and welcome to my channel, where pop culture and cocktails collide with sexy results. This is the playlist where I taste test an adult beverage and give you a taste of a piece of pop culture I've recently discovered. Doesn't that sound fun? I call it a taste of this and a taste of that. So, for today's taste of this, I have these beauties, the Steel Reserve Alloy Series Spiked Beverages. We got spiked watermelon and spiked blue raz. They are 8% alcohol by volume. They come in 16-ounce cans, and they cost me about $1 at my local liquor store. I'm not sponsored today because I doubt I'll be giving them a good review because they sound disgusting. The main ingredients are water, corn syrup, barley malt, yeast, hop extract, sucrose, citric acid. So basically it's a watered down malt beverage with a bunch of sugar and flavors. For my body, put inside of me. And for today's taste of that, I'm going to be talking about the Boulet Brothers Dragula Season 3, which I'm aware is a few years old at this point, but I just found it and I love it and I want to talk about it. So, if you're not familiar with Dragula, it's kind of like a trashy, skanky version of Drag Race, and therefore it's better. And that's why it gets a skanky, trashy taste test pairing. I usually like anything watermelon flavored, so let's start with the watermelon. I immediately regret this. Oh my god, it's so bad. Oh. Okay, first of all, the watermelon flavor is delicious. It tastes like a watermelon Jolly Rancher, which I always appreciate. However, it tastes like watered down cheap beer that someone left a watermelon Jolly Rancher in, and it's not pleasant. Moving on. Oh, it tastes like ass. So Dragula, specifically Dragula Season 3, and why I think it's amazing.
Don't make you
So first things first, it is a very low budget reality competition series. And that way it does remind me of the early seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race, where they were just sort of in like a dingy back room with far too many spotlights. It's not that bad, but as you watch it, I mean, it is noticeably lower budget. The workroom is smaller than you're used to seeing on television. Prizes are a little less glamorous. The guest judges a little less immediately recognizable. And some of the costumes are a little more obviously homemade. The Boulet brothers themselves are pretty delightful hosts. Apparently they're a real-life married couple, they're not actually brothers. And the larger one definitely seems to be the leader, and she's also my favorite because for some reason when I hear her talk, it reminds me of like if Brian Posehn had an evil little sister. That's how she would turn out to be, and it just delights me. I love it. The format is kind of like Drag Race, except completely different. Each episode starts with a little like horror vignette, like a low-budget spooky film starring the Boulet brothers. These don't seem to have any connection to the actual show, and I could take them or leave them. Honestly, like, I don't care for them. But you will notice that their challenges are a little more extreme. The very first challenge of the very first episode, they make a bitch swallow an entire jar of live spiders. And it just so happens to be the only drag king on the show. That's right, this show's got a drag king, and he's amazing. And that really highlights the other difference from other drag reality shows. Like, this show has a lot of diversity. Granted, I could use a little more ethnic diversity. At least in season 3, the cast seems to get noticeably pale by the second half of the season. But they do have a variety of ages. They've got several contestants that were assigned female at birth. They have a cis woman, non-binary people, the aforementioned drag king, and Yovska, who's her own thing.
Yovska! I'm Yasuka.
And Canadian.
I'm 20,000 years old from Toronto, Canada.
If you're wondering how a drag king can compete in a drag queen competition, the answer is pretty dang well, actually. And they don't have to make like special rules for him either. He has the same rules as the rest of the competitors. The guiding principles of Dragula are glamour, horror, and filth. And drag king Landon Cider fulfills all of those things. He is super glamorous, so sexy in boy form, and equally compelling when she's in girl mode. She's like one of my favorite contestants on any drag competition ever, and it was a delight to watch him compete. I want to date the boy version version of Landon Cider. My two other favorite competitors on season 3 are Hollow's Eve of Destruction and the aforementioned Yovska. I love Yovska. I am all in on Yovska. I'll come back to Yovska. Hollow's Eve immediately sets themselves apart from the rest of the cast, being an assigned female at birth, post-binary individual, but still competes as a queen.
I'm a post-binary drag socialist with a penchant for anarchy.
I feel like calling Hollow's Eve a drag queen or king would be too reductive of their work. They do gender fuck, they're grimy, they're filthy, like each piece has an artist statement. Like Hollow's Eve is amazing. Granted, they seem like they might be a lot in real life, but I am here for the passion and what they bring to the table. One of the things I'm really missing from a lot of like mainstream drag competitions is that element of gender fuck and messing with identity. Hollow's Eve is unapologetically non-binary. However, they are very in tune with their feminine biology and sexuality. And I think what Hollow's Eve is doing with their art is showing the difference between gender and sex. They're two different things with two different sets of issues. Hollow's Eve is unapologetically themselves, unapologetically without gender, unapologetically full of sexuality. And I just love to see that in a drag competition, and I want to see more of it. And now we come to Yovska. Yovska! 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 Oh god! So the can says brewed for extra gravity? What does that mean? Does seem pretty heavy. I'm gonna call my scientific test results inconclusive. Where was I? Yasuka! Actually, for Yovska, let's try the other flavor. Blue Raz. This also has extra gravities. I'm starting to think these are for children. This tastes kind of like your standard blue raspberry, not quite Jolly Rancher blue raspberry, but definitely like Dum Dum blue raspberry. Those little suckers you get like the bank. These would be great if you were trying to get a bunch of 17-year-olds very sick. It might be funny to leave a few cases of these by the high school. Anyway, Yovska. Yovska is this demented little plushie that like crawled out of hell and just wants to be your friend. But also probably secretly hates you. Yovska is cute as a button in boy mode and horrifying in his drag persona. He's like a Beanie Baby from Silent Hill. And I love Yovska. I am all in on Yovska. I have followed his Twitter. I have ordered his merch. I have set up a temple devoted to worshiping him day and night. Yovska! And I feel bad for poor Yovska. It's clear that no one gets him. They want to do a Gods of Rock challenge, and everyone else is doing like Joan Jett and shit like that. And he was just going for 90s J-Rock. I honestly don't think they understand where Yovska is coming from. Because if they did, they would love him as much as I do. There are some other queens that I like, but I will say, not to just like shit all over someone, blame the Steel Reserve. It's just so bad. But there's a contestant, Dahlia Black, who seems to do like really well in the competitions, and the Boulet brothers seem to appreciate what she's doing. But I found most of her looks to be pretty basic. She does this like haunting eye effect that is really cool, but she always does the effect. Clearly it's like her signature thing, but oftentimes it's the most prominent feature of her outfits, so it becomes less of her signature thing and more of her gimmick. But whatever, the Boulet brothers seem to love her, and at least from what I've watched so far, she goes pretty far in the competition, which, The other fun thing about this show is the elimination challenges. I feel in like all drag competitions, we know the elimination challenges are mostly a foregone conclusion. Unless someone really fucks it up, we know who's going home before the elimination challenge even starts. And the same is true in this show. However, the elimination challenges themselves, like not just lip syncing and twirling, it is some like Fear Factor extreme shit. They have to jump out of planes, get tattoos, drink a glass of blood. I don't know if you've ever had like blood sausage or something that's heavy in blood, but they have to staple themselves with an industrial staple gun. It is intense. And while someone dropping out or not completing the challenge is extremely rare, it does happen. Another thing that annoys me about the show are some of the editing choices. There are those like little horror vignettes that I talked about that just sort of lie there. It seemed like space filler, honestly. But also, the main performances, they make the choice to intercut all of their routines, which if they're just walking down a runway, more or less, it's fine. But one of the weeks, they had to do a full-on burlesque performance, and they kept cutting between the different performances, and it was hard to understand what like the flow of the dance and the stripping was for each individual competitor. And they do that for a lot of the main challenges and just ruined it for me. Another thing I like is the drama. Like, it doesn't seem as manufactured as it does on other reality shows. There's still drama, and obviously there's that element of people on camera kind of playing it up and acting the part. But I did get the feeling that the producers weren't the ones necessarily causing it. All the drama that came up seemed to be just organic, and oftentimes seemed that it was happening completely off camera. Sometimes contestants would just walk into the workroom and start going off on some drama that the viewer had zero idea what they were talking about. Honestly, from what I can tell, if anything, the producers are trying to reduce the drama. I don't know what it is. It's not like we like saw the producers really all that much, like maybe the back of their head here or there, but I just got the feeling that whoever was the talent producer was just fucking exhausted and just wanted everything to go as smoothly as possible and not have to deal with anything unexpected on this low budget horror drag queen performance variety hour freak show.
This is gonna fucking destroy me. This is gonna destroy my career. This is what I'm talking about. I don't even care about having Jane's Majesty on my fucking ass. I don't care about that. But people are gonna be fucking...
So yeah, I think it's worth checking out. If nothing else, check out Yasuka. Yasuka and her insane plushy titties, her insane plushy ass, her insane plushy everything. I am fully here for Yasuka. Don't drink this shit. Hey everybody, did we have fun today? If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe. If you have a suggestion for an adult beverage that I should have a taste of, let me know. Also, if you have a piece of pop culture that I should give you a taste of, please also let me know. We can discover new things together.